go. And unmute. Okay, there we go. Hello, movie lovers. I'm welcome to the show. And I have a very special episode that we're actually going to be doing. We're actually doing a movie review on The King of Staten Island. And with me, I have Rossie McCree with me. Say hello to everyone.
Hello,
Rossie.
Everyone.
And I have Nicole with me.
Hi,
Say hello,
everybody.
And yeah, we're actually going to be doing The King of Staten Island. This is actually one of those movies I've watched like 4 or 5 times already because I just love the dark humor of it and stuff like that. But this movie is actually based off of Pete Davidson's life and everything too. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I looked and it said it was sort of
semi-autobiography.
like what he thought his life would be if he didn't become a comedian.
Well, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that, you know, he had such a tough life and everything too. People looking down on him. So I think that had a lot to do with the influences within this movie because you can actually tell that's actually what they were going for was the people looking down on him, doubting him. This movie is filled with passion, but at the same time, it actually pulls on your heartstrings and stuff like that, and also pulling for him at the same time.
Yes.
So this has a lot of gears and a lot of layers to this movie. But let me go on ahead and talk about a couple of things that I like. Number one, the director of this movie is just fantastic. I have full respect for the director and everything too. I think that he's a phenomenal director. Pete Davidson plays Scott. Marissa Tomei plays Margie. Then you have Bill Burr, who plays Ray Bishop. Steve Buscemi's in there as Papa. And then the runtime's at 2 hours and 17 minutes. And I'm going to be honest with you, the runtime to me is a little too long. You can actually feel the runtime for this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed the how long it was. I really got immersed in the story, and I honestly didn't want it to go off. It was surprisingly really good.
And that sometimes seems rare because, like, I did think it was a little long, but I was never angry at it. I'm like, oh, it's still going. Okay, like on the last episode of my podcast, we watched Titanic, and there were a lot of times in that where I'm like, this needs to be over, but I never felt that way with this one.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like this movie actually needed to be 2 hours because you're dealing with a lot of things with this character. You're dealing with the death of the father. You're dealing with him being a slacker and everything else, and then him just
his sister moving to college,
depression,
right,
and 80, ADD, yeah,
right,
yeah.
He's just progressing, moving on forward, and you know, like I said, if you guys do not know what the King of Staten Island is, it's about this guy named Scott. He's a freeloading 24-year-old kid who still lives at home with his mom and an inspiring tattoo artist, which his tattoos are not that great. Or anything. We're going to get to that in a minute. Who is also dealing with his father who died in the fire in 9/11, and his sister is accepted into the university, like Nicole had said. So he's dealing with a lot of stuff with that. And then also, too, he can come around as dickish and everything, too.
Yeah.
And, you know, but at the same time, you can tell that he's covering something up inside of him. Like he's afraid of change. And you can tell that he's afraid of change. Like, for perfect example, his sister's about to go to college. And he doesn't want to accept that his sister's moving out and going to college. So what does he do? He's putting the blinders on, right? So what I mean by the blinders is the fact that as long as he sits on that couch, she's not going to college. As long as he smokes his weed, she's not going to college.
Right.
And as long as he doesn't go to that party, she's not graduating.
Right.
And everything.
Like he refused to go out and say goodbye to her because he acted as if she was just going up the street, like it was no big deal. Until her friend Joanne's like, no, like we're gonna be gone for 4 years. You might want to come out and say goodbye to your sister for a while. Yeah.
Right.
Jenna was happy. She was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let you just be a jerk right now. Your sister's going to college. This is a big deal. And because he wasn't even doing anything important. He was watching SpongeBob. I'm like, really, dude? They're just ridiculous.
Well, it depends on what episode it was.
Yeah, SpongeBob's pretty good. SpongeBob, and I thought it was funny how she's dragging him out, and he takes a look at SpongeBob again as if he just doesn't want to miss that episode. I thought that was really funny as well.
It's hilarious.
And mom's outside just crying and going through it because her baby's leaving, and he's just standing back, just kind of like how he is, just like you said, the kind of dickish attitude, the dark, humor that he has, sarcastic, yeah.
Right. And another thing too is I love his friends. His friends is probably the highlight of this film. They remind me of my friends, to be honest with you. We used to bust each other's balls all the time in junior high and stuff like that, talking the same way they talked. And they also and you know what was funny though, being in that basement and everything, and then them just watching what was the movie that they were watching? It was
The Purge.
Yeah, The Purge. I think the first one.
The Purge,
the very first one. And then like, why the hell are we watching The Purge?
Yeah.
Just because it's a fucking good movie. That's why.
And then girls are like, I want to go dancing. And they're like, yeah.
Hey, Igor, do you like dancing? He goes, yeah, I like dancing.
And she's like, yeah, see, he likes dancing. And I love the when the one girl sees the tattoo on Scott's arm and asks about the tattoo. And it was his father's death when his father died, and everyone's kind of like, ooh, why'd you ask that question? Why'd you have to ask about that tattoo and the jokes that they made about his dad being dead?
Right.
I found that just hilarious.
Me too, because he even makes a joke about his dad being dead though too. This is if you're into dark humor, this movie's for you. But if you're not into dark humor, this movie is not going to be for you. You're going to be in total misconception of what you're getting into. I know Charlie's commenting in the comment section, so let me go on ahead and talk about that. He goes, the movie changed that part. It was actually a hotel fire that the ceiling collapsed on his father in the movie. The true event was he died on 9/11. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a few minutes, Charlie. I just didn't want to put it out there right now, but we're gonna get to that most definitely. We also ironically starred Marissa Tomei. Yep.
Who was the best.
I love Marissa Tomei.
I do too. She looks so good too.
She does.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know what it is about her, but whenever I see her in a movie, I just get happy. I'm like, oh, Marissa Tomei.
Right? She makes me smile. Exactly.
She's so classy, though. She's a classy.
Yes.
She adds an air of class to whatever she's in, and she does a really good job because you can tell as a mom, she loves her son. Of course she does. That's her baby, but she's just so frustrated with him. And like, she's trying to tell him to move out at first, but she's like trying to be polite about it, and she's trying to get him a job and be polite about it. And I could feel her pain a bit. I'm like, I get where she's coming from.
But then it changes, right? When Scott goes, it's okay, Mom. I'm still going to be here. She's just going to be like 10 minutes away. And Marissa Tomei's look on her face is like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great, Scott. I wish that you would leave.
Right. And the fact that I think she recognized that Scott, obviously, I think she has guilt that his dad died when he was 7, and it's like it's a subject that they don't want to talk about really. I mean, they still have the shrine in the house. I mean, and it's been years since he's been dead, and Scott's just hasn't ever dealt with it. From what the family's saying, the sister made that statement saying, they've been dealing with him, for years since he was 7.
Right. And I can imagine though, I mean, that's a lot of stuff to actually process and everything too, because your memories of your father during that time period is kind of, flaky because of the fact that you don't have that conception of who your father was. You only know a small bit, but not the whole thing. And we're going to get into that though too. Yeah. But I do like the whole entire thing where they do the, like you said, with the friends in the basement, and he goes, ding dong, who's there? Not your dad.
I love that. Honestly, dude, when I saw that part, I was really there for the movie, because, Pete is funny. You see him on Saturday Night Live, and you're waiting for the movie to grab you. So when they're in the basement with the friends and they're making the jokes, you're like, I want to see again what happens next. You really like that group of kids. And you know someone, like you said, you know people like that.
Yeah, so they feel realistic.
Absolutely, yeah. Kelsey, you've met Kelsey before.
They're not perfect people, but it's like, that doesn't matter. They're still, they still feel like realistic. And, it's like they do like each other, even if it seems like they don't. Like, the guy they call Igor.
That's my favorite character.
There was this kid who came by to buy some drugs, and he insulted Igor, and they all say, "Hey, you get out of here! You don't insult him. We insult him. We can make fun of him, but you can." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I actually am behind that. Like, you can make fun of your friends, but other people can't."
Right, because remember, Igor. Remember, it was about Xanax. They were. He wanted to sell. The kid came over to buy Xanax for $60. He only had 40, and then. Next thing you know, the kid starts insulting Igor. He goes, "Man," he goes, "What size shoes do you wear?" He goes, "I wear a 9." He goes, "Man, you can't even get on a roller coaster."
That's right. You wear size 5. Stop lying. That's
right.
Because see, I knew that kid looked familiar too. It was the kid who was Rico in Hannah Montana, like ages ago. My niece loved Hannah Montana, and so I was like, "This Igor guy looks familiar," and I realized it was him. And I was like, yeah, that's him. I was like, I knew he played Rico, the guy who owned that little like shop on the beach. That was him.
Ah, I didn't even know that. That's a little fun fact. Right. Let's see. Charlie said, to be honest, the movie felt weird for him. Not your typical Judd Apatow film. I can understand that, Charlie. I mean, like I said, I like Judd Apatow. I'm glad that you actually put his name in there so the way I can actually remember. But I like the performance by Pete Davidson. Definitely.
Most definitely.
Too. Oh, he did a great performance. It was a really good movie.
Mm-hmm. It was. It has everything you want in this movie. You have relationships, you have drama, you have comedy, you have everything that you want from a movie. And
a great cast, because you got people that you've seen in for me, stand-up, that I've seen doing stand-up on Showtime, and you see them pop up as guests in a restaurant. Bill Burr, that was a huge surprise. I didn't know he was in a film, and seeing him was awesome because I love Bill Burr.
Right. Bill Burr was probably one of my favorites out of the movie, though.
Yes. Right.
And let me just tell you why. Because this kid comes over to Scott and his friends, and you can definitely tell that they've been at this hangout spot since they were kids, because the same security guard is still that security guard.
That's right.
And then security guard falls. He goes, "One more time, kids, I'm going to throw you out. I'm going to call the cops." Of course you're going to call the cops. You're a rent-a-cop. You can't do anything.
Yeah, at the orphanage for it was a what is it, a orphanage and a cemetery for the orphanage. Yeah.
But I love that, though, because it also reminds me, in high school we had this cop who was a security guard. So my friend Daniel actually said, "Hey, officer so and so, if I lay down on the ground and everything, will you draw little pictures for me?" Because he wanted to trace the outline of his body is what he wanted him to do. So, we did a lot of stuff like they did, and then of course this Bill Burr's son Ray's son comes over there and he goes, "Hey, I want a tattoo." Harold. He goes, "Hey, what's your name, kid?" "I'm Harold." "Man, that sounds like a tough ass name, man." "Hey,
I'm gonna call you Harry."
Yeah, I'm gonna call you Harry.
And he goes, "No, it's Harold."
Did you like that scene? But yeah,
we're laughing, guys. This movie was that good. That's why we're laughing. It's hilarious.
Because the scene is really funny. It is so hilarious. Oh my gosh.
And Igor's like, he goes, he's the only one that actually has brains in this situation.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't do it.
He's trying to talk him out of it.
Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. And then even the other guy's like, "Man, don't do it. You messed up Obama. I can't wear my shirt on right."
That's right. He couldn't go to any black colleges. He couldn't go to like the black restaurants anywhere and he really messed up on that whole when the security guard calls him the fat Kanye.
Oh
yeah, the fat Kanye.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I died.
Had me rolling. I was like,
right? Me too. Me too.
Kept saying, Obama's not right.
Yeah, Jenny, yeah, it's on HBO Max, so I hope that you enjoy that film. This is why I like doing these film reviews and everything, so you guys can actually watch something new, tell me what you guys think about it and everything. So yeah, just hit me back up and everything in the comments section when you get done watching it, because I'm kind of curious of what you think. But yeah, then of course he draws a line because he wants a Punisher tattoo, which I want a Punisher tattoo as well, because that's the same tattoo I want, but all of a sudden he just draws a line. So he goes on ahead, and next thing I know, runs off.
Yeah.
And after that happens, I don't know. Is it like a couple of hours later, or is it the next day? Because it doesn't really.
I'm thinking maybe a few hours later that the father shows up and brings. And don't forget the part where Scott did ask the kid, "You give me your full permission to tattoo you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And Scott's like, "That's good enough for me. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it." Yeah.
And
but
Igor's like,
so hours later, yeah.
Right, and then Igor's like, I don't want to be with you guys anymore. I hate you.
And the kid runs, and they're like, "Run, kid, run, run, run!" I thought that was funny when I told them, "Run, just run, kid."
And then Harold's father finds Scott's house.
Gosh, right.
Knocks on the door, and of course, it's Scott's mom is there, and it's hilarious because like she calls for Scott as Ray is explaining what happened, and Scott like appears for a second, goes like, "Oh shit," and he goes like to leave again.
That's right.
Because he like guess he just finally realized that he couldn't get into trouble for this. You can't tattoo a kid. Like the only way you could possibly do it is if the parent gave consent, but like no sane tattoo artist would do that.
Yeah. No, and not that young either.
Oh no.
Right.
And I liked it when he goes, "You let your middle-aged child draw on my son." And he goes, "First of all, I'm not middle-aged. I'm 23.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Well, what are we going to do about this?" She goes, "Well, I can go on ahead. I can pay for the laser and laser it off and everything at the hospital and everything." And she's in a panic. She doesn't know what to do or anything. And then Scott's just still talking.
He's like, if I want to go to my room, I can go to my room. I don't need anyone to tell me to go to my room. I can just go to my room freely. And Ray's just going off. I mean, as he should, going off. Poor Harold's embarrassed because Dad's embarrassing him. And the funniest line, I don't know what it is about, Ray and his kids, but look both ways before you cross the street. And I'm dying at that because they're screaming, "Look both ways," like I am. Yeah, and then that was hilarious.
Right. That scene makes me laugh every single time because I just want to let you know I choose to go to my room because I'm a grown-ass man, and that's what I do.
I can go to my room if I want to go to my room.
The funny thing is, I have a friend of mine that looks like him and also talks like him, and he has that same humor and everything. So
really.
Yeah, so when I'm watching it, I don't see Pete Davidson. I see him.
I get that. And I saw the picture. He does look like him, especially with the glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
But but back to this though. I mean, I definitely love the introduction of Bell Burr. Bell Burr did a good job of playing Ray Bishop. You can definitely tell that he cares about his son. He wants this off. He wants this tattoo off of him or this line off of him. And then the mother's in a panic, and then after that, I think it's the next day. He winds up going back to her house.
Yeah,
and if it wasn't for Scott, they wouldn't have gotten together. So the tattoo thing happened to be a good thing.
Right.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, goes back and invites her out. They end up going out on a date, and she's kind of awkward because she hasn't been out for a while, and they're both funny. I thought their scene was just both funny, and Marissa Tomei is absolutely hilarious. So I love that scene between her and Ray. And when she's like, "Are you flirting with me?" He's like, "I absolutely am. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm flirting with you." I thought that was so cute. I love them as a couple.
Yeah, me too. They actually had a lot of chemistry.
Right? Yeah.
And I kind of I also understood why it took her a long time to tell Scott too, Because, like, you know, I mean, at first he seems excited. Like, while she's like, hey, I made you breakfast. Like, she's trying to butter him up. And she's like, I'm seeing someone. And he's like, oh, that's great. And then she's like, it's Ray. And he's like, that douchebag.
That's right. That's right.
He said,
he throws a 10-year-old tantrum. Mom's dating, and he's just not comfortable with it. Yeah, and then he's like a kid.
And then he goes, what does fucking Ray do anyways? Oh, he's a firefighter. Oh, that's just fucking perfect. Why don't we just want to have a memoir right by Dad's fucking thing right over here?
That's right.
He gets really pissed off about that.
Yeah.
And in a way, I can kind of understand because, you know, I was maybe thinking he's like, oh, if they somehow get married, what if he dies too? Then she's lost 2 husbands, and I just can't.
And I get that because he's traumatized by the fact that his dad died, how his dad died. So I get his, you know, his apprehension about his mom dating a firefighter. You know, anyone but a firefighter.
Yeah,
right.
I just think he handled it the wrong way.
Right.
You know,
he did.
But granted, you know, I can't blame him just because it seems like he has not dealt with this properly. Like, see, I think it's also because I'm someone who advocates for therapy. I was like, dude, you need to go to therapy. You need a counselor or someone to talk to.
Right.
Right. Yep. Another thing too that I want to mention is the fact whenever I first saw that, I'm like, okay, is he afraid Ray is taking his father's place, or is he afraid that he's about to get his ass kicked out of the house? That was my other initial thought.
I think because
I was thinking that he was concerned that Ray was going to. I don't know if he thought he was going to get kicked out, but that Ray was going to come in and like be dad,
take over. Right.
Take over, move in. You know, having breakfast.
Right.
I mean, spending the night over. I think it's like that's his territory. You know, and you know with Scott dealing with his depression because he's on antidepressants. You know that he's taken. So, you know, and you also see the relationship with he and Kelsey. You know, he's kind of afraid to let anyone in.
Right. Because remember what Chelsea says. She goes, well, thank you for the sex. He goes, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and it's nothing to him.
Right.
And to find out they've been together for a while, but he didn't look at it as a relationship. He just thought they were having fun.
Yeah. And again, it's just he's scared, and you get it. It's just he's not going about this in a weird way, you know.
Yeah,
definitely. But you know, another thing too that I liked was the fact that after all that happens, he goes to the tattoo parlor where MGK is.
Oh right, yes.
And then,
oh my god,
he ripped that customer in half. And I
do agree that one tattoo with the Confederate flag. It's like, why the hell would you even ask for that? Oh my god.
Right, exactly. And I was like that too. I'm like, this is not going to end well for that customer.
And then he looks at and whoever James is that died. I'm sure that he was a douche and no one wants to deal with him. So I'm sure everyone's happy that he's dead and he's not coming back. And the guy's like, you really want to do that? And it was a hilarious scene because, you know, they're showing as he talks about each tattoo, you know, the camera pans over to the other tattoo. And when the dude gets up to, you know, go after him, as he should, he got the hell out of the tattoo parlor.
Right. But not only that, but he also talked about the naked girl on the motorcycle, though, too. He said...
That's right. I forgot that.
He goes, what's up? Is James going to go marching on the Confederate flag?
The scene where he's like running out of the tattoo parlor. It's hilarious. Oh my god.
It really is. That scene was great. And also, too, he goes, and the bit where he goes, I'm kind of confused here. Is the motorcycle burning a pussy or what?
That's right.
And,
that's right.
That made me crack up.
Dude, that whole scene. And I remember you telling me about that scene, and which I end up watching the movie and then seeing that scene and just died. It was just a really good scene. That was like one of the, you know, you have different parts of the movie that were your favorite moments. Right. And that was another moment that, you know, of course you love.
Definitely. And then, of course, he winds up getting a job as a busboy at this restaurant.
Oh, yes, that's right. The pizza place.
Right. And then these people are asking him, he goes, look, I need a steak, medium rare. I'm just paraphrasing. And he goes, look, I'm not gonna remember shit.
He's like, because I'm just trying to figure it out.
Are you writing this down? He's like, are you writing this down?
And they were being really specific too. Like, okay, as someone who has worked in food service and knows people who work
same here, right?
Never be overly specific, because that's how you get people spitting in your food and talking about you.
Yes. Yes.
The scene where he then goes to the back and he spit on the food. One of the waiters says, dude, you can't do that. That's not how you spit in people's food.
Right. Because he got pissed off over at the boyfriend, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Was that the night that Ray was there?
Yeah, Ray.
Yeah,
and you know, he goes on ahead and spits inside the bread, and he goes, dude, you're doing that wrong. You got to actually step it up. And he goes, okay, so should I just go ahead and cram this whole entire bread up my ass or what? He goes, go for it if you can.
I thought the favorite part of the restaurant was, of course, the end of the evening. And this is the scene before Ray and Mom comes in there, when he first starts there. And at the end of the night, they're all gathered around because they have to fight for tips. Dude, when I saw that scene, I mean, that was awesome. That was so funny.
And they knocked them out. Hulk gloves, the ones you wear to pretend you're the Hulk. You can't afford boxing gloves.
You know what? You have to get the chance to actually slap your spar with your co-workers. I would actually work there.
Right.
You know,
that was great. That was a lot of fun. I thought that was funny. I'm happy that they added that in. I died when you realize, oh my God, they're really gonna fight for tips. And you know, the dude's like Zoots, I think his name is. He's dancing around and he's like, I'm doing, you know, I watched Creed. I'm doing what Creed did. So they start doing the same thing, and he's making jokes, you know, to Scott, and then knocks Scott out. Not, you know, Scott falls out, and that was just a funny scene. I think that was great that they added that in. Fight for tips.
Me too. That was fantastic.
That Zoot guy could have just been a random nobody character. But they gave him so much personality in life that even though he's just there only for a little bit, he added a lot to the movie. I'm like, I was like pleasantly surprised. He was so funny because again, like with the thing when they were like about to fight, they're like talking to each other like in a friendly manner. He's like, you know, not doing this to be a dick, but he's like, I want those tips. And I was like, I totally understand. Because again, food service, you do not get paid well. You need those tips, man. You need that for rent.
Or when he thought he was going to knock out the one bus boy, Javier, or whatever his name was. And he's like, I'm sorry, Javier, but I got to do it. And he gets the glove, and you're thinking, and the audience is thinking, oh, he's going to do it now. Okay, he's gotten used to it. He's going to knock this kid out. So he goes over there, and you're not expecting for him to run into Javier's glove and knock himself out. I thought that was so funny.
He's like, are you okay? He felt bad.
And then on top of that, it's Hulk gloves.
So much. Guys, this movie is just so
funny.
Yeah,
that's right. It's Hulk gloves. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing, though, too, is remember Scott's first night, he's like, he didn't know what to think. Yeah. Because he thought it was probably part of Fight Club or some underground club or something.
Isn't it his uncle who owns it, I think?
I'm not sure. That's actually a good question.
Because I remember, I think the guy was somebody who was at that graduation party for his sister.
Okay.
Oh, he was at the graduation party. The owner of the restaurant never put that
together. No more his family. I can't
never really put it together.
But I was like, I'm not surprised that they're going to fight for the tips.
Right. And remember, he was like,
but
I don't want the tips. You can have the tips. I don't want them. And they make them fight anyways. Yeah, that was great.
And another thing, too, that I actually wanted to mention as well, that another thing that I liked was, okay, you actually have bonding time with Steve Burr's character, with Ray. Because remember, he goes, hey, Kate, come on over here, sit down. He goes, so he went on ahead, Scott sits down, and he starts talking about, hey, do you want to catch a baseball game with the Yankees? And he's thinking like New York Yankees, but it's minor league baseball. And he goes, no, I would never fucking watch an MLB game. Plus, I'm a Red Sox fan. So And I'm also a Red Sox fan. But anyways, but yeah, I just thought that little thing what he actually said was great. And then of course, they wind up bonding, and then that's when Steve Buscemi's character comes in, Papa. Because remember, as a matter of fact, Steve Buscemi used to be a firefighter and everything before becoming an actor.
Oh, okay.
I can see that actually.
Yeah, he actually helped out during 9/11.
Okay, didn't know that.
Really? Yeah. Oh, wait, I do think I remember reading that a long time ago.
Yeah, it's actually true. He was, as a matter of fact, I listened to it on the Talking Sopranos podcast when they had him as a guest on how he became up and everything from acting, and it was really good. But he said, yeah, I actually went and hung out with the old guys again and everything, and rode on the back of the fire truck and everything, and I helped everybody. As he goes, it was a great experience.
Okay.
God, Steve Buscemi is so cool.
He is. He definitely is. But I also like the shirt that Scott is actually wearing. It looks like something that the Joker would actually wear. Because
which one? The one with the mushrooms or
the smiles all over his face?
Oh, the smiles. Okay.
All over
his shirt. The smiles.
Okay.
And and of course, then you realize he has Crohn's disease.
That's right. That's right.
So I didn't. You know what? The first couple of times that I watched that, I thought he was just messing with them. I thought he was just making some shit up. Oh, I have Crohn's disease. You want a hot dog? No. What's Crohn's disease? Oh, that's whenever I just don't stop shitting. So
that's right. When I eat something I shouldn't eat, and I just sitting there like,
right.
Thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Right.
And he goes, but he really clowned at the baseball game. He embarrassed Ray. And he's getting ready to tell him why he doesn't like firefighters.
Right. And he said, if you're going to have kids, don't have kids. Just don't fucking have kids, because it's just horrible. You destroy their childhood, because you run into a burning building. You don't know who the fuck these people are or anything like that. Next thing you know, your kid doesn't have a father anymore. So, and he actually pretty much said F the fire department.
Right.
And everything.
Yeah.
And
again,
Ray is just crushed.
Get where he's coming from.
Yeah, Ray.
But he is not going about this the right way.
Right. And then at that point, you really get that, like you said, he's not really joking. He's making a point. Like, he's letting you know, this is how it affected me, and so, and why he is the way he is, just this, loafer through life, just, not taking anything serious, and I think he wants to, but he's just still dealing with, the father thing. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's also just a scary idea, like, if you put yourself out there, what's going to happen, But I think, he's not really realizing that the world needs firefighters. We need people like that, because not everybody's like that. Not everybody's going to be like, oh, I'll jump into a burning building and save a stranger. Not everyone has those ideals and morals.
Yeah. Right. Not everyone's built like that. Absolutely.
Exactly. And that I have to say, that was like the first time Scott actually got a chance to open up to anybody, and that also gives you a level of even though he hurt Ray, he actually opened up to somebody that he only met for a couple of hours.
True.
And everything, and that just shows you the closeness that you were going to get later on in the film with the bonding that they have.
Yes,
because they always clashed, and then also too, I also love. Let's just talk about Harold and his sister for a minute.
Oh, yes. Oh, how cute. Yes.
Yes. And then he's walking into school. He's walking into school, and then he goes, kiss your sister goodbye. Why? I don't ever kiss my sister, because you never know when she's going to die. He goes, what do you mean she's going to die? She lives with me. Kids don't process this way the things that we process things. You can definitely tell that there's innocence there. Hey, hold on a second. Hey, Tamika.
Hey, Tamika.
But yeah, I love the innocence with that scene where it's like, kiss your sister goodbye. Why? Because you never know what's going to happen and everything. So he kisses his sister.
True.
It is. It really is. Because as a kid, you don't understand that. You don't understand the concept of death.
Yeah.
Until you're actually faced with it. Right, because you're like, I get to see my sister every single day. She lives with me. What do you mean she's going to die? you know.
And remember, at that age, you think you're going to live forever anyway. I mean, it's a kid, so you don't, life goes on for you. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't think about that. Yeah. And see, now I'm someone who works with kids. Like my latest job, I'm working at a nursery, and when they when he brings the daughter into the classroom, the teacher's looking at him like, who is this man? Right. And she looks, and of course, I can't remember the daughter's name, but her being a young child, when the teacher asks her, like, do you know this? Like, are you okay? She's like, yeah. Are you sure? You can tell me. Yeah, I'm okay. Do you know him? Kind of. Like, she doesn't realize why the teacher is a little terrified, because I don't think they even called him, Ray called the school to be like, hey, someone else is bringing my kid, so of course the teacher is like rightfully freaked out.
Yeah. Right. And then also too, she said, this is also what Scott actually says. He goes, you're not going to get anything out of her. We already had that talk before coming over here.
I love that part. The teacher just kind of gives him a weird look, tells him to go wash the brushes. But I love that. Yeah.
Right. And then also like the thing with Harold and him though too, because it goes past the tattoo with the mark whenever he actually gave the 12-year-old kid a tattoo. Now he's bonding with him and everything, right? So now he's dealing with the OC characters, original characters that the kid is drawing and everything, telling him how he can actually advance with that character and developing that character. That is just awesome. I love that. That was inspirational to me.
Yeah, I thought that was a good idea. I mean, first of all, it was supposed to be his punishment, for him to walk the kids to school. And of course, we see as they, show every day him walking the kids to school, them getting closer. The little girl, Kelly, singing to him. And I thought it was cute that he gave her a compliment. He wasn't too mean to the kids. He was kind of sarcastic. But he gets to know the kids more than the parents actually know the kids.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why
it helps him. It helps him.
And I'm gonna say this, and ladies, you might agree with me, but I really do think that one of the reasons it is attractive that a guy is nice to kids is that he's being patient with them. Again, I work with children. A lot of people don't seem to understand. The kids don't understand how the world works completely. They're trying to figure things out, and you need to be patient with them. And Scott's being patient with them and actually talking to them, and he's not talking down to them and being a jerk. He at least has the common decency to be decent with these kids.
And he allows them to tell them what they like, like Kelly saying that she likes to sing. And I thought it was really cute that Harold, when brothers and sisters usually fight, Harold said she's a really good singer. She sings really good. Basically, like, don't say anything negative about my sister singing. She's a really good singer. And I like that scene,
I felt that.
Yeah, exactly. You feel that scene. So it does humanize Scott. And I think for Scott, it helps him because he's with the kids. And I thought it brought something out in him,
Yeah,
definitely.
And it also felt realistic because, like I've said, little kids, if you're into stuff they're into, they love it. When Harold started talking about the superhero, he seemed sort of excited that an adult was listening to him and his idea. Right. And I'm like, it's a really good scene. And those kid actors were really good too.
Weren't they great?
They were.
To make guys with kids and puppies are attractive to women. That's true.
That's very true.
That is very true.
Yes.
That's the one way to a woman's heart.
We love that.
I have to agree. So let's see here. Now I want to actually do something else that I really wanted to touch base on with. And it's dealing with Ray Bishop and also his ex-wife. Because remember, God goes over to his house. And he wanted to find out a bunch of dirt on Ray.
That's right. He gets her drunk.
You know what's funny though? I thought he was actually going to sleep with her for a minute. I
did too.
No, see, I thought she was going to try to seduce him.
I thought he's gonna sleep with her. That's gonna be his revenge. I knew it was gonna happen. I just knew it would happen. Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're effing my mom.
And I was like, is she gonna try to sleep with him? That's what I thought. I thought she was gonna try to seduce him or something.
Right, because think about it like this. He goes, okay. I can just see him with that little smirk that he has. He goes, I talked to your wife and everything, And
I could have seen him doing that.
You've been effing my mom, so you know what? I decided to F your wife too.
I knew that. I just knew it was going to happen. I really
So
thought
now
they were
related.
Yeah, for that to happen, because they're drinking, smoking, and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna sleep with them and go back and tell Ray. But
yeah,
he didn't.
It was the opposite. I'm glad that they did that though, because that's the opposite thing effect. And I always like it whenever it's not planned out the way I think that it's gonna go down. But then he released a bunch of dirt about Ray and everything.
Yes.
And then that's when Ray gets into it. He throws him into the swimming pool. Matter of fact, he actually pretty much just throws him over his shoulders and throws him into the swimming pool at his house. And then
when Martha, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Go ahead. I'll let you.
When Margie shows up, Ray's got him in a headlock. Got Scott in a headlock. So they both look horrible, and Margie puts both of them out. So Scott ruined it for Ray with the mom, and it backfired on he as well because he thought, get out of here. But mom put them both out. So, and there, begins Ray and Scott's bonding.
Yep. And then also too, remember the sister invites them over to the college. This is before Ray and him gets into a fight.
Yes.
And he thought that the sister was going to take Scott's side, but instead she took Ray's side.
Yeah.
And then they went on
happy. Like she's so frustrated with him, and I get it because she's like, "Can't you just let mom be happy? Like leave mom alone." Because Ray really isn't that big of a dick. He really isn't.
No, he's a good guy.
Right.
He's been trying really hard, but Scott's just been purposely being a jerk. See, me and John, for the first episode of my podcast, we reviewed Over the Moon, and that has the same sort of storyline. And it's like the whole entire time I was like, the character was not being nice to her dad's new girlfriend. I'm like, stop being a butt and be nice. And that's what I was doing with Scott. I'm like, stop being a butt and just be nice. It's not that hard. Because it seems like he was trying his hardest not to be nice. And so he kind of deserved to be thrown into the pool, in my opinion. It's like that. I would have done it.
I totally agree with you on that. And I also love the party scene and everything else, and making up what classes he's in, which he's in 0 classes, just hitting on the college girls, smoking weed with the college girls. Then he's actually pretending that he's actually smarter than what he actually is, talking about philosophy and government and everything else. And the next thing you know, he starts getting with this other girl.
That's right.
And then after that,
see that his sisters having a good time at college. Remember, because he didn't think that they had a good time like that, Right. And like she said, how would you know? You've never been to college, So but I thought that him going to the party with her was a good bonding moment for them, and that's why he thought that she would team up with him to get rid of Ray. Right. Until he realizes that there's no need. Like Nicole said, let mom be happy.
Right. I felt like in a way Scott kind of used her in a sense because he knew what he was going to probably ask after hanging out with her.
Okay.
Was to seek revenge on Ray by herself, without Ray, without Melissa Tomei, which is Margie. And, that's what I was thinking,
Okay.
But I don't know if you guys thought that or not.
No, I didn't. I didn't even think that.
Yeah, I really didn't.
Okay. So like Rossie said and everything, so he gets thrown into the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And then that's when it starts the bonding time. And of course he has nowhere to go. And so first he goes on ahead, sleeps with the what's the character's name again?
Kelsey.
This was a jerk thing to do. Guys, don't ever do this, please.
No. I do not advise that. Because after they get done having sex, he goes, well, I'm just going to go on ahead and crash here for a couple of days. Couple of days? Well, maybe a month. And she goes, a month? Well, a year.
Longer.
Right. So
and he says the wrong thing. Yeah. Well, I got kicked out from my mom's, and Kelsey realizes, oh my God, did you just come over here and have sex with me for a place to stay? And he's like, no. And, of course, for a woman, that's not going to happen. So I thought it was funny that he she throws him out the room. He goes downstairs and asks the brother, "Hey, you mind if I crash with you?" And he's like, "No."
Right. He's like, "Nope." I loved that. And I just see, and I kind of also loved, one of the reasons I feel like I don't like a lot of modern comedies is they will always try to make the female characters out to be the bitch when they're in the right. And they didn't do this. Like, Kelsey has every right to be like, "You're not staying here. You can't just keep using me when it's convenient."
Exactly. Yes. I do commend Chelsea. She was a strong character, though, for Scott, to be honest with you.
Yes, she was.
And, and the delivery of her lines was good. And I also like the part, too, where Scott is actually sleeping in somebody else's yard on their porch. And then the guy goes, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I thought this was my house." And he and then finally he goes to the police, not the police station, but the fire station where Ray is. Yeah. And that's where I really love that, though. Like, at first you're thinking, okay, how is this going to play out? Are they going to kick him out? Because Ray and him are not going to get along. And Ray even said it. He goes, "You can stay for the night, but then after that, you got to go."
Yeah, you got to go. Because you ruined a relationship with the mom, I mean, you ruined my relationship with your mom because you're being a brat. Now you need me, which was the best thing that happened for Scott, was ending up at the firehouse,
Right.
With
he
the
learned
guys.
Responsibility. He learned responsibility. He learned about what a job was, being independent, making his own way. And then at first, you can definitely tell he's afraid of that fire truck.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what though? I love the scene where it just pans in the back of him as he's entering, like he's going into a stadium.
Okay. Okay.
That's the feel that I got from it. You're coming out of the stadium, and it pans back to where the jersey is, and you're going full into the fire station that way. That's what I got out of it, and I really love that feeling. Is like, okay, this is a little bit of anxiety for me. What's going to happen to me? I pissed Ray off. Are the guys going to accept me? Because I also pissed off Papa as well. So what's going to happen to me? So I definitely love that. Let's see. Charlie says, once Scott enters the fire station is where the movie's picked up. Yeah, this is actually where it picks up.
I agree.
I like that Scott realized that as he, stays with them, and days go by and he's, they put him to work basically. When he starts going out on calls with them, he starts to see the heroes that they are, because they show them, with the first building that was on fire. And he's really scared and nervous because he's starting to bond with these guys. And you see that he has this kind of anxiety when he sees them going into the building and there's fire and, the fact that they're, risking their lives. And then at the end, they're coming out with people and saving people. And it's like he's starting to get a different view of what it was that his dad did. That they're heroes. It's not what he thought. They are needed.
Yeah, because see, as they're going up to the building that's on fire, at first it's just you see the fire, but as fires usually do, the windows start bursting. And he flinches a bit, and so he's standing there, and Steve Buscemi, Papa, he's standing down there with him. And he says, "They're gonna be okay," and he's like, "Yeah, I know," but it's like you can tell he kind of is still worried about them because there is a chance something could go wrong. And the scene where Ray comes out with someone who was in the apartment building, it's as cheesy as this is going to sound, it was really cool. It's like in some slow-mo and everything. And I think it was the first time he was seeing Ray as somebody other than just this guy who's trying to steal his mom, who's trying to take his dad's place. He sees him as the hero that he is, and it's such a great scene.
He seems concerned for Ray as well. Like he's getting to know Ray, and it's like he's concerned that something will happen to Ray.
Yeah, because I think he also remembers if something happens to Ray, what's going to happen to Harold and his sister. They're going to be without dad.
Right, because you can tell for like a split second as he's watching. He's worried about Ray though too. His anxiety's there with all the other guys, but he actually cares for him. And and also too, I also love when finally Ray goes, "You can tattoo me and use me."
Oh,
and then there's also another funny part though too that I want to get into as well. Is the part where he's washing the fire truck. He goes, why the fuck am I washing this fire truck? Are you modeling for something or what?
It's just gonna get covered again.
Right.
Is it trying to look sexy for the fire?
All I can think of is the calendars with the firemen and everything.
That's all my God! Right, the Mr. June, Mr. September, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. December, Mr. January, all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
what about the scene where the guy, Action Bronson, shows up, and he's the guy with the stab wound?
Oh, yeah. And
remember that scene?
This guy, okay, what I loved about this is how casual this guy is. Because at first, Scott's not looking up at him. And the guy's like, hey, can I get some help? He's like, yeah. And then Scott looks up, and this dude has a massive pool of blood on his shirt.
Yeah.
He pulls it off. There's this huge gaping wound. And it's like, it's nothing. And Scott's like, dude, you need to go to the hospital. He's like,
you're going to die. You're going to die. Like right now, you're going to die. And he's like, no, don't call anyone. Don't call anyone. I'll be fine. No, you're going to die.
And he goes, what happened? He goes, what happened?
Oh,
he goes, did you get a shot? No, I fell and I landed on a fence.
That's right.
He goes, don't worry about it. Give me some Band-Aids and I'm good to go.
He's like, nah, dude, you're not good to go. And so he steals or takes the fire truck or whatever, the vehicle, to get the guy to the hospital. And of course that scene starts when Ray gets there and they realize that Ray comes back and goes with them, right? Or does Ray meet him at the hospital?
Ray shows up at the ER.
Okay.
And everything, because remember, Scott's already there. So I love the fact that Scott calls Ray. He trusts Ray at this level now.
Okay.
And letting him in. And now he's like, hey, I'm with the fire department and everything. So can you go and have him in? So I definitely love that. And then that's when the mother comes in and she's like, what the hell are you two doing here?
Yeah, like she's kind of
covered in blood.
She's still probably mad at both of them, but then when she finds out what happened, she seems like kind of shocked.
Yeah.
Right.
And shocked that they'd been staying together, that he'd been staying with Ray.
Yeah.
That whole time. Yeah.
Well, remember this though. Scott does come home, and he goes, "Yeah, Mom, I have a job now. I know responsibility. I've been doing great. Can I come home?" And she's just laughing. Goes, "You know what, Scott? Come with me." All of a sudden, she shows him the door and then shuts it.
She's savage.
And her and her sister, and they're just dying laughing.
She started laughing at him like.
That was a great scene.
Oh, you think you know what hard work is? Which, in a way, she kind of has a right to do this because, you worked one day, dude. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, and he's 24, so she's trying to, it's time to go. It's time to go. Yeah.
And then, in the ER, now we're going to go back to the ER. I know we've been kind of going back and forth, but it's kind of like flashbacks. That's
there's a lot going on in this.
Yeah.
But. I like the part where she goes, okay, let me see your shirts. Take off your shirts. So she goes, what the hell is this? He goes, what? I told him no Chinese symbol. Is there Chinese symbols? No, there's no Chinese symbols. And there's like one Chinese
no unicorns.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
everything he said not to do, he freaking did.
His back.
All except one thing though, and that was a portrait of them together.
Yes.
And that's
and his dad.
His sister, Margie, Ray, and and it's really sweet. Even though it doesn't look that good, it's still really sweet.
Like MGK said, I had a tattoo book when I was 12. That's exactly what it looked like. But I loved that. That brought tears to his mom and everything. And that's more of once again, accepting him into their lives. Yes. And that's great.
Yeah, so that was like his way of saying, accept him, and that's a big deal for her. So it's really sweet.
It definitely
is. Remember, Ray's been wanting him to accept him because, another flashback, if you remember at dinner, the mom and Ray were talking about they were going to Boston to visit Ray's, she was going to be introduced to Ray's mom and dad. And remember, Scott's at the table saying, "What am I going to do for Thanksgiving?" And Ray was like, "You can come with us. You're welcome to come with us." So he was, from the very first time that he started dating, Margie, Ray was always open to kind of step in there and kind of be Scott's surrogate dad. He's very accepting of Scott.
Yes,
because there's some people when they start dating someone who has kids, a lot of them are not going to do that. There are going to be some people who genuinely will not make an effort. But
especially when he's 24 years old, especially at 24, they're not going to do that,
Right.
But still trying. And, so good on Ray.
His tattoos looked a lot better when the movie started out.
I love the tattoo of the sister on Margie's, because I thought it was a rabbit too. And when she was like, "No, it's his sister," and I was like, "What?" Because I thought, oh, he drew a rabbit on his mom's, arm. No,
Ray said he thought it was a Cocker Spaniel. I thought it was a dog too.
Yeah, I thought it was a rabbit or something.
All right. So, is there anything else that you guys want to dive into, and everything else that you want to last minute thoughts?
Would like to say that I liked how it ends.
Yes, I was going to say that.
It's not like the way they ended is he takes Kelsey to take some sort of exam. And she says, go do something, and it just ends on him sort of looking around at, they're in Brooklyn, looking around kind of with, a hopeful look on his face. He doesn't seem despondent or anything. It's like he's sort of, starting maybe to see this world isn't so bad. He just has to try. Yeah. And it's a simple thing, it ends with a shot on him. And I'm like, I liked that. It was perfect.
Yeah, I love the way it ended. Yeah, I love that. I love how she's like, "You're going to be around. It's going to be like 2-3 hours." And, you think he's not. But I love the way it just ended.
Yeah, it was perfect.
I love that.
Same. And also, too, you can definitely tell that he enjoyed helping her study for the exam. Right. And everything, too, getting her settled in. And then also, too, he's looking at his life, right? So this is what I got out of it. It's like, you know what? It's going to be okay. He goes, Chelsea's into me. I'm going to give her a chance. We're connecting. We're bonding. This is not just going to be this one moment anymore. I'm going to live in this moment and see where this actually goes. And I'm also going to probably be a part of a fire department where people actually depend on me now. Yeah. And life is just good. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah,
it was absolutely. A good ending.
Yeah, very good ending. Great movie. Great movie. I'm looking forward to his next film.
Oh, yeah, me too. He's going to be in the next Suicide Squad movie. And I'm looking forward to that.
Really?
James, I forget who he's playing because James Gunn knows how to write comedies. Let me see who he's going to play real quick. Let me see.
Is he supposed to be playing Polka Dot Man or Kite Man? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, so I really see. Oh, he's playing Blackguard. That's who he's playing. See, the thing is, like I've said, I feel like. This is called there's a genre of movie I don't like, and what I call them is everyone is an asshole movie, where it's about dysfunctional families, but everyone's just too dysfunctional to be likable. But with this, they made him dysfunctional, but I still felt for him. I felt for his mom. I felt for his sister. It's right. And so it was actually really surprising because at first I was like, I don't know if I'll like this because I don't like movies where everyone is screaming at each other. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was good. I really did like it. And I
liked it.
I really think Pete Davidson did a fantastic job.
He did. He did.
And everybody's actually hating on this movie because they don't understand it,
Yeah, I'm getting that too. I'm hearing that people I brought it up to my sister and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you got to see it." She's like, "Nope, I don't want to see it." And I'm like, "No, it's really good." Because I thought that too until I watched it, and like I said, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I loved the pace of the movie, and he did a great job. He really did. It was funny. Great actors all around.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I could watch it 2 more times.
Same. As a matter of fact, I think I watched this thing 5 times. I think that's maybe why it might be trending. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the show and everything. I just want to say thank you guys for joining me on this. And here's the thing: I love hearing women's perspectives on movies, even though this is a dude movie in a sense.
Right.
But I just like hearing females' perspectives. I've always been that kind of thing because with guys' perspectives, we are just straightforward. We go into the narrative. We don't think about what we think about, or anything like that. Our opinion is what our opinion is. You guys actually settle back, you relax and chill, and you're like, let's just take a breather for a minute and see what this thing is actually about. Let's go on ahead. So that's what I like about this and everything. So my question for you guys is, Rossie, where can people follow you at?
People can follow me on Instagram at McCree123 hotmail.com. That's MCCREE hotmail.com. You can also follow me on Facebook at Rossie Lynn, and I'm now on TikTok at Rossie McCree. And I just put up a new video. If you guys like it.
Awesome.
Okay. And where can people
Twitter
follow you,
at
Nicole?
Rossie Lynn Bark 1. Sorry.
Okay.
So
it's I'm going to follow you then because I don't have you on Twitter. So
yeah, I don't either. I was looking for you and I couldn't find you, so I need you to send me your tag.
Look for Movie Lovers Unit.
Okay.
I am Root Beer Bubbles, aka Root Beer Clody on Twitter, and I also have a Twitter for my podcast, which is Pop Culture Chaos. We're hopefully going to be doing an episode this week on Clue, so be on the lookout for that.
Awesome.
Okay. Awesome. And let's see. I'm actually, as of course, guys, you guys can always go ahead and follow me at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite on Facebook. You guys can also follow me on Instagram at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite over there for all your entertainment needs and wants and everything, for movie news, for movie news, TV reviews. Go ahead, go to www.movieloversunite.com. And another thing too, guys, is follow me on Movie Lovers Unit. Sometimes I actually tease certain things that I'm going to be doing. I also put up polls so that way I can decide on what you guys might want to watch us review, or topics that you want us to go over. Go ahead and check that out over there. You guys can follow me at Movie Lovers Unit over there. And then, of course, at JohnDeGorio8 on Twitter. And then another thing, too, is this. I'm actually going to be doing 2 shows tomorrow.
Ooh.
One at 5. Yeah, I'm actually doing 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, and I'm actually going to have another podcaster with me. Her name is Isabel Life, I believe that's what it is. The Isabel Podcast, and she's a young entrepreneur who's just now getting into podcasting and everything else. So we're actually teaming up. We're actually going to be reviewing The Devil All the Time. So we're going to be reviewing that. And then after that, at 8 o'clock, you can actually catch me back over here again. And I'm actually interviewing an independent director and producer for his new independent film. So go ahead and check that out tomorrow night, guys. And always, until next time, guys, it's been fun. It's been great. Bye-bye.
Bye.